face and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Sam Harder, who is on his phone texting.
Shameful.
Oh, we're in shambles already at minute fucking 0.
Yeah, I'm Carter Glasscock.
And joining us today, he is the eminent host of the Nerd Goat podcast. You've seen him on Screen Junkies. He is legit one of my favorite people in LA comedy, in life. Our buddy, the third appearance on the show,
Ed Greer.
Ed Greer. Welcome back, man. Thanks again for being here and doing this.
Oh, dude. I mean, I can think of worse things to do on a Sunday than hang out with you guys.
Yeah, or a Tuesday morning in kayfabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had that explained to me what kayfabe means.
yeah.
I felt dumb, but Rivers was so kind.
Yeah, I have my days of the week messed up because Dusty Rhodes beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, there we go.
I was there. I saw it.
Thanks for the support.
There we go. And of course, we've had Ed on 3 times. Normally with your better half, Clee Wiggins. What's Clee up to today?
Clee is at Disneyland with her cousin.
Having more fun than all of us.
Yeah, or having an affair that's carefully orchestrated. Either way.
Parking lot, 5:30 p.m.
Yep.
So today, I guess before we start, if there's for some reason someone listening to this podcast and they don't know, explain what Nerd Goat is a little bit to them, and then I'll explain what I kind of want to talk about today with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It started out as a show called Who's Your Favorite? Because I don't know how to brand.
And
It
it was spelled Hoosier, and it was
yeah.
all about people from Indiana.
Yeah. Bobby Knight made many appearances.
Mostly Bobby Knight and Larry Bird. Yep.
Yeah, we had a segment at the end where we threw a chair at a child.
Yeah. Tito Jackson, all the favorites from Indiana.
All of them.
Yeah.
So we got rebranded by our producer as Nerd Goat, producer Bill. So me, Ron, and my buddy, producer Bill, we talk to people about their favorite fictional character.
Yeah.
And that becomes like a James Lipton-ass psychological experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when people come with their favorite fictional character and we talk about it for an hour, shit comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And our most recent episode, it's one of our best. We had Hector Navarro from the El Rey Network.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
And that show El Rey Nation on there. He, Vanessa Gritton, my boy Cameron, and a few other people do basically a show where like Latin geeks talk about their perspective on the shit.
Yeah.
So basically, Hector came on, and he works for DC as well. And he came on and he did Tony Stark as his favorite character. Huh. And we just talked. We had a 2-part episode. They were like an hour each. And it's fantastic. And the ratings were fantastic because people were like, dude, this is the deepest dive we've seen on a character. And if we're going to have a character that deserves that, Iron Man would be that guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
So especially given all the stuff that happened in the movies.
Yeah. Was it just based on the movie portrayal of Iron Man, or was it the comics and everything?
Yeah, we went deep dork to like I kind of talked about how he was a boring fuck in the comic books, like, number 1, businessman.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to be a businessman when you're a kid? Who the fuck, so
He's like a character your parents envisioned.
dude, exactly. And yeah, we got.
He tried really hard. He got good grades, and now he's a superhero.
Dude, and we talked about, and we end up talking about how him and Captain America are part of like a 2-part American monomyth. Captain America's the soldier / cop that's on the street.
Right.
Doesn't really even have a gun, though. He's got a fucking shield because he just protects.
Right, but he's like a cop that supposedly has like nuance.
Right.
He can understand.
Right. And know when to make a legal call on the street or when to defy the law on the kind of the Dirty Harry but nice.
Yeah.
And the other part of the American monomyth is fucking Iron Man, a brilliant billionaire who's a billionaire because he's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And contributes to society and gives a fuck about the world.
Yeah.
That's a myth.
Right. Yeah.
So it's talking about him in those contexts, and also talking about some of the comic book lore, and obviously getting to Robert Downey Jr.'s great performance and all that shit.
Yeah, and I know the way he was, they sort of started steering him in that like kind of darker direction in the comic books as to be sort of a guy with substance issues and stuff like that.
Right.
And then when I remember, I'm not like a deep comic book person, but almost all of my friends are, and I remember remember when Robert Downey Jr. got cast, it was after his like. Personally, the actor, like the real guy, had all of these like awful issues with substances and everything like that.
That was his big comeback performance. Was when he became Iron Man, right?
Right, and it was the first time that I'd heard anything about Robert Downey Jr. I guess Zodiac was out right before Iron Man, but other than that, of him just like falling asleep in people's backyards around LA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so when he got cast in this like kind of big superhero role, it was kind of like
I didn't know that had anything to do with like the character Tony Stark has.
Well, no, it was,
issues.
but I'm saying my friends who had been reading the comics the whole time when he got cast, I was kind of like, wait, the junkie guy who's always getting arrested, and they're like, yeah, but Iron Man is that now. He's like a guy with issues.
Yeah, right. Iron Man had this story called Demon in a Bottle, where he started just getting fucking fucked up.
And
flying the equivalent of an F-16 on his body. You know what I mean? I'm super fucked up. Let's fly this. Repulsor rays for your ass.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a bit problematic, and in the comic books, actually, they replaced him with a black guy. Black guy, more responsible than billionaire tech guy. Yeah, representation, progress.
Yeah.
And so in the 80s, during like things like the Secret War, which a lot of comic book people will know, Secret War was like a thing where they where basically a being took all the comic book characters off of Earth and put them onto a world and made them fight. So they took the villains like Dr. Doom and all them, put them on
real
one side.
Mortal Kombat situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they should make this into a video game. Marvel versus Capcom 2, I guess.
Dude,
is what it is.
Secret Wars, the video game, would be the shit. You'd have all the hero characters, all the villain characters. You'd be able to pick any of them. Maybe even pick like teams that you could fight like all together.
Right.
Like how I played NBA 2K. I got Shaq and Kobe and Rick fucking Fox or whatever the fuck. So I can have Captain America, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk, and I could do a maneuver using all of those and fuck your ass up, controlling all of them.
Yeah.
And like
That'd be
DC
sick.
terms, it's kind of Injustice is kind of like that, isn't it?
It's like that, but they're kind of fighting one-on-one, or they'll have the Capcom thing where like you can go, Batman can call Superman to come down for one move, and he takes a shit on the guy and flies away. It's like, that's not how it goes. Like,
Like, why wouldn't you just get Superman?
Yeah, this comic book shit isn't logical.
it's got internal logic. You don't have fucking Kane chokeslam somebody you don't want him to chokeslam. You know what I mean? Or somebody who's supposedly un-chokeslammable. Has he chokeslammed like the Big Show before?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, well, they had
that's a big put over, though.
Yeah,
I get why that would be.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's your, what was it? Who did they put Batman up against when Marvel and DC had the crossover? It was something, was it Wolverine?
No, I think Batman fought Captain America.
That's what it was,
And then that was a big put over for both of them.
Fight of the white rich guy.
Yeah, dude. And it was like they were fighting, and then like fucking Batman. It was funny though, because Batman was like telling him like, okay, dude, you might beat me, but it's going to take a long time. So why don't we just talk it out? And it's like, I wish white people would comport themselves. All right, we could fight, but we should talk it out.
Yeah. Not in a hole. You think you're tough, huh, motherfucker?
Yeah, that was the biggest fantasy of all time. That any two macho men like that would go, all right, let's just have a conversation.
Let's talk it out, dude.
In the middle of a big fight. But yeah. I love comic books, but I just like fiction in general for its ability to like tell us about ourselves. You know, when you look at the fiction of each era, you start to see who those people were.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Back in the days, like motherfuckers were so obsessed with like Edgar Rice Burroughs shit, because Edgar Rice Burroughs was like always finding ways to put white motherfuckers in alien environments and have them defeat it.
Yeah, Tarzan,
You know what I mean?
John
John Carter. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, oh man, just imagine me like decided to write a whole bunch of stories where like just a black dude stops in Scandinavia and goes, you guys are being stupid. You know? Take them stupid ass helmets off. This ain't even historically accurate. Now, that's your huts this way, and nobody would accept that. But like, you know,
right.
Yeah, or like Philip K. Dick, like in the '60s, writing about like trying to find your humanity and like robots
See?
and shit. It's like the same thing. It's because there's disillusion from the Vietnam War,
and the fact that in the '60s people started to think more about consciousness as a thing,
right?
You know,
yeah.
in like the 20s and stuff, they thought about it like that theremin type shit and the fucking seances and shit.
Sure.
And, 1800s and 20s, that they kind of thought of that. But then in the 60s, it starts being like, well, maybe you're not your soul, bro. Maybe you're your consciousness.
We're all one part of a vibrating consciousness.
Right. We're all a prism. We're all panes in one prism. Shit started coming out. So then all of a sudden your fiction starts to be like, well, what if your world isn't real? And then in the 70s, you look at shit like Taxi Driver. and I'm trying to talk too much about like race and stuff, but like I talked to Paul Schrader, and he said Travis Bickle being a racist was very important to the story.
Right.
When you look at how he looks at black people in that story, it lets you know his mindset, which lets you know that like, look, he's conditioned to only see the worst in people, much like cops. He's at night. When the worst shit happens, he goes to all the worst areas, and then he goes, well, these people must be bad. You're going at night to the worst areas.
Right. Everyone keeps coming in my back seat.
Yeah, it's as if like the racism is a consequence of his paranoia.
Yeah, his paranoia fuels it.
Right,
And it kind of shows you that it is in his head. Because there's so many times in the movie where it pops out and shows you, this motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah.
So many times.
Oh, when he eats a piece of apple pie with cheese on top. That's what I knew. It's like, you weirdo.
Oh yeah, or when he like tips the TV over with his foot. That part gives me so much goddamn anxiety.
Dude, I fucking love that. And the scene that always stuck with me and my group of friends was we used to watch it, and when he's trying to tell Iris to get out of the game, the little horror game. Or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you gotta
You think you're cool, man? You think you're cool out here?
He goes,
You're not cool. You're fucking square, man.
you know what he called you? He called you a little piece of chicken.
He's a fucking dare officer is what he is in that moment.
And he's eating the cheese pie again in front of her. So she just eats like a cookie or something.
Right, yeah, something like that.
So you think you're fucking cool, man? You're not cool. Oh, yeah, that part is rough. Every and then the part with him and Harvey Keitel before that tour is like, hey, you're a funny guy, but looks on everything. go have a good time, man. Go have a good time.
Dude, and so, and I love how everybody that gets shot in that movie is so shocked.
That makes it so much more horrifying because like when people get shot in movies, they're just like, you know,
no, it wasn't inevitable.
Yeah, like when they can't believe that they've been shot, like that last scene.
It was in the script for this to happen.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, here comes the Will Hill scream, and they fall off the roof. Into some hay.
Yeah, no one's ever. It's funny. I've never thought about it like that. But yeah, no one's ever died like, ow! It's just like
yeah.
Oh shit!
Is there anything scarier than that guy with the mustache at the end of Taxi Driver with like half a hand going, "You son of a bitch!
I love
son of a bitch!"
I was going to say, I love the hand shot. Also, because special effects weren't that good back then.
Oh yeah, it's like candy colored red paint coming out of him and shit. But yeah, like
well, it adds to an operatic nature of it.
Yeah.
So
oh my god!
It's like you might as well be pulling ribbons out of their chest, like a puppet that dies on a stage or something.
Absolutely, it's like the context set up for it is the really horrifying part. It's not like if they like show like half a head being blown off, it wouldn't be nearly as horrifying as like them being surprised that this guy is doing this in this horrible place.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think people talk about that Joker movie right now. That Joker movie is trying to do some Taxi Driver type shit.
Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and they got De Niro in the fucking movie too, in case you didn't get it.
Right. It's those movies mating. And they're bastard child of the 2019, 2020.
I've heard like some of these like reviews about it being like it's a strong superhero movie, it's a strong psychological thriller, and it's a really strong Martin Scorsese movie. It's like I wonder how Todd Phillips feels about that. It's like it's not a Scorsese movie, actually.
Right. Well, the weirdest criticism that I've heard so far about the Joker movie, and I have a feeling that this is just going to get fucking amplified over as the movie comes closer and closer to coming out, is that there are people on Twitter legitimately being like, there's too many incel crazy white guys with guns for this movie to come out. And you're like, that's not the movie's fault.
Right.
Like, they think that they're going to like take on the Joker's ideology. I'm like, he's the fucking bad guys. That's not the movie's fault. You know what I mean?
Speaking to what Ed was talking about fiction, like as like mirroring society.
Always reflective of society, not the other fucking way around.
That being said, the movie hasn't come out yet, and I'm not going to defend it.
Watch it be really bad. I'm just on taping.
I don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. I guess I'm going too far out on a limb for a movie that's not out yet. But,
I mean that's absolutely true. But like it's one of these things where I wrote, this lady was saying some shit about she didn't want it to come out and all this jazz, and I was just like, I don't want people to start going, well, you know what's going to happen, because that's Minority Report shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want us to censor the problems of society out of our art, because that's Demolition Man shit.
Yeah.
You know? So like, why would we capitulate to either of these things that we've seen in multiple stories and then in dumb Hollywood movies? That's when you know even a 3-year-old could understand this concept as if it's ever in a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So political correctness was, Demolition Man is political correctness for 3-year-olds. This is the danger. This is the ultimate danger of too much political correctness, too much sanding the edges off of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, and Minority Report is for 3-year-olds. Hey, maybe let people have enough freedom to make their own decisions and stuff, and don't try to predict what everybody's doing, because maybe people who try to predict what people are doing have a nefarious intent.
Yes.
The people who build private prisons investigate very thoroughly on the patterns of crime that are going to happen throughout the future. And of course, like the Enron execs, they always think business is going to be booming.
Yeah.
They don't ever want the private prisons and business to go down. Anything that could fix that is fucked up.
There's only two goals: profit and growth. And if that's your mentality when it comes to incarceration, it's
They'll have those filled up.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, too, if it's like the job of the filmmaker to manipulate the audience. So if you're putting the audience in the head of the Joker, you're supposed to examine that, I guess. Again, I say this like not seeing the movie.
Okay, well, we don't have to talk about the Joker movie. Just look at things like Fight Club, right? Fight Club was written by a gay man.
What?
A gay man looking at heterosexual men and how they're socialized.
Yes.
From just that tiny bit of outsider perspective, he could see like this jock mentality seeping in and all this kind of,
Sure.
And he does a thing about it, and then people go, yeah, I liked all this fighting, and then they blew up the credit card company. Yay! No, the whole thing was anti that, but you choose. I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but like you. Male or white male or any type of anybody obtuseness is not on the filmmaker.
May 26th, 4 o'clock p.m. I took Betsy to Child's Coffee Shop on Columbus Circle. I had black coffee and apple pie with a slice of melted yellow cheese. I think that was a good selection. Betsy had coffee and a fruit salad dish. She could have had anything she wanted.
God, this conversation got so good. I don't even want to bring in my dumb thing I wanted to talk about, but so I have sitting before me two of the preeminent minds in comic book analysis. Those being Ed Greer and Carter Glasscock.
Oh wow, me?
Yeah, well, because I just know from
you've seen that in my trunk.
yeah. You're a comic book reading motherfucker. And
I do enjoy it.
I was wondering, so since Ed's show is Nerd Goat, greatest of all time, I figured y'all would be the right people to ask about who are the cousin Olivers of the comic book world, like characters that were introduced perhaps into an existing franchise that were just turds in the punch bowl. And if you do you guys have any just right away? Because I have found Ranker has given us the 30 most ridiculous comic book characters ever, and they have quite a list. But I'd be interested to hear y'all's as well.
As someone who does read it and enjoy it, that does seem like a pretty slow news day for Ranker.
Oh, sure.
30 most ridiculous. I mean,
there's some good ones on here. I'll just the first one is just arm fall off boy.
Oh yeah, that's a DC, like a Legion of Superheroes type of guy.
See, I knew you'd be the perfect person because they don't give context. They're just like, this exists.
I feel like a charlatan next to Ed in this regard. I mean, I'm totally like, I have a renewed interest in it. I'll put it. I can come at it from that perspective.
Okay,
I don't really know.
But also there's all these characters who are kind of. It isn't really this the Cousin Oliver thing. It's more like, how the fuck. Like when you look at every single comic book character, there's a how the fuck moment.
Sure.
Like with Spider-Man, they didn't let characters wear a full face mask. Full face masks were only for villains. You wear a half mask so people can tell that A, you're fucking white.
Yeah.
And B, that you're a human being that they can trust and da-da-da-da. That's why the heroes wear a half mask and the villains wear the whole mask.
Sure.
So, but Spider-Man was, and he was a teenager.
Yeah.
They used to have, Robin was introduced in Batman. The sole reason he was introduced was to have a young person that young people could root for because Batman was too unknowable.
Yeah, even he's 29. Dear God.
Whoa, this is crazy. So you got to have this little kid in short shorts,
Yeah.
I'm your booty shorts partner. So they had that shit going on to have people have kids, but that you could never be the hero. You could look up to the hero.
Yeah.
Then Spider-Man comes along, full face mask, spider powers. Who the fuck likes spiders?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
shittiest shit ever. It shouldn't work. So like for every character like that, there's ones where you're just like, oh fuck, this is terrible. And I knew this was going to be terrible from the get go.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
because of the nature of comic books is just volume. Like there's just, or at least you know, nowadays I'm sure it's a lot more curated and things like that, much in the way television is. But similar to television, at the first like kind of advent of it, it's just like we need content just as much as possible.
Right.
People love this shit.
Well,
So that's what I imagine leads to a lot of this is just somebody whose brain is so burned out. A writer is just like I don't know,
Well,
arm fall off boy.
yeah. I mean, like,
Who was meant as a joke. That's another thing about places like Ranker. They're just like, that character didn't help Batman solve the mystery of his parents' murder. You know what I mean? Arm fall off boy did it. You know, that's not what happened. He was a one joke. You know what I'm saying? So count characters like that.
He pulled his arm off and fingered Joe Chill as the murderer of the parents.
Yeah, exactly.
It's you.
My severed arm always points to evil.
He spins the arm around. It just points at the person.
the
who
arm
did it.
spins itself around.
That isn't what happened. So like that's a little disingenuous.
This is kind of cool though. I mean,
But yeah.
we should really do like a gritty reboot of Arm Fall Off Boy.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing is like all of these I have a feeling you could now if you had the right writer, because there's been so many. I mean, frankly, Iron Man is one of those characters that it was a dead ass property when they made that movie. You know, Iron Man was just like, oh yeah, you mean the thing that's very similar to Batman? Like,
I mean, every comic book movie now, in order to be even good, has to reinvent the comic book movie genre.
Sure,
you know what I
sure.
mean? Like every single one of them. So you could take like a character like what Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yeah,
And like fucking
it's hilarious. It's a great
it thumbs
idea.
its nose at comic book movie convention.
Right,
It's like,
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
make
the only
them into-
movies that are getting greenlit are comic book movies, so you have to make it about it somehow.
Make him into the new Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing about all these movies. It's almost like people go like, oh man, when are people going to suffer from superhero fatigue? Bitch, Westerns ran this world for 70 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
70 years. I'm on a horse. Either I'm going to a place or I'm coming from a place. I'm almost to the place and the engines attack me, or I get there and they attack me.
I either have to kill a guy or I have to save a person.
Yeah, I have to kill a guy, I have to save a guy. Somebody's going to get hanged. Do they deserve it? Do they not?
Yeah.
They milked 70 fucking years
Yeah,
of stories
absolutely.
out of that.
And they
it's
still
the
do
same thing.
occasionally. Good ones still come out.
Was the thing? It's like there's like there's essentially 7 stories you can tell in film. It's just like it's what you wrap it around in. So
Right.
it's like the same stories that are told in those cowboy movies are now told in this under the context of superhero movies.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like the political intrigue movie is like The Winter Soldier, and then like the fucking like buddy comedy, or like even like Star Wars was remade as like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like all this shit is just kind of remade because superhero movies sell, I guess.
Well, and to have Star Wars trumpeted as a piece of original thing,
Yeah, right.
It's fucking hilarious because it's like it's in itself the Forbidden Fortress from Akira Kurosawa and Flash Gordon movies, and you know it's a pastiche of all those fucking things. You know,
Sure,
what I mean? In and of
sure,
itself, it's like Indiana Jones is basically a King Solomon's Mines type thing. You know, or 40 cereals. Oh, you got any more?
yeah.
Matter Eater Lad. Yeah,
Matter Eater Lad.
And see, and that's another reason why
This guy can eat anything.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's another reason why fucking Ranker is cheating in this, because like the Legion of Superheroes is, to my mind, they should all be on that list.
Okay.
Because me personally, Legion of Superheroes is basically set in the 30th century. Superboy.
What year is this from?
Like fucking 1950s all the way up to the 80s,
gotcha.
all the way up to now. It's like one of those properties that's been around forever.
Oh wow, okay.
Since the DC, I guess, Silver Age. And basically what it is a legion of superheroes. There's thousands of them, and they can all fly because they all wear this ring that makes them fly. But all of them have different powers, like Matter Eater Lad, Fall Off Shithead,
Wait, is Arm Fall Off Boy part of it?
he tried to audition to be down with them, and he was too useless. So basically, and that's true. That's canon. So
This is a movie. Let's fucking write Arm Fall Off Boy.
dude, I'm telling you,
Find the guy who created the character and
Just
get his go
like
ahead.
literally, the movie starts with him being rejected for being useless, and then it's just him working his way into the league. Goddamn, this is great. Who can't relate to this? It starts with an abysmal failure.
What was the other? What the fat man was the the guy who can eat everything?
Matter Eater Lad.
Matter Eater Lad.
The picture is
it
amazing.
Does, like you said, it's like what Ed was saying. It's like a subconscious fuck you by the writer being like, you like, here's a useless character. Again, it's like Riker's kind of fallen for.
Well, if the job you've been hired for is to come up with a legion of superheroes, then you're just going to be writing whatever.
Well, and that's one thing that people don't. It's so funny that modern movies are dominated by a medium where they were like Schultz, Kleinberg, whatever the fuck. By Sunday, give me this whole story. And now, fucking 50 years later, we're going like, shit, man, we got to parse these sacred texts for our next blockbuster.
What is the essence of Lady Stilt Man? You know, like for instance,
Lady Stilt.
Let's really get down to what is it to be a Lady Stiltsman? What is it to be Snapper Carr?
Oh, wow.
Snapper Cart.
Snapper Cart?
Snapper Carr.
Oh,
Carr. Snapper's like the Justice League sidekick, and he doesn't really have powers, but he sure can snap.
Oh, wow. Well, that's another thing comics used to do.
Do you know Snapper Carr? Have you heard that one? Okay.
I definitely am not that familiar with him, but I've heard the name. And the thing is, back in the days, used to have like the Hulk used to hang out with a kid named Rick Jones. For no fucking reason. Like Rick Jones is part of his origin story. Basically, Rick Jones was talking to some kids, and the kids were like, I dare you to cut a hole in that fence and go kick it in the fucking gamma bomb place.
Wait, he was just daring the Hulk to do things?
Well, no, his friends dared him, so he was he was in his like James Dean fucking stupid open car, chilling out, playing guitar to no one, and and Bruce Banner goes, "Oh shit, son. There's a fucking kid out there." And the fucking Thunderbolt Ross and all the other military people were like, well, fuck them. We're going to drop this bomb. Too bad. and Banner was like, nah, fuck that. So he jumps in a Jeep and races out there to try to save the kid. And he ends up just pushing him in a ditch and covering him with his body. And then, of course, the gamma radiation eats him up and makes him the Hulk. That's the Hulk's origin story. As stupid as that is.
Wow. And so then they just kept that kid around?
Yeah, they kept that kid around for years and years.
He's like, this is your fucking fault.
Yeah, to this day, they keep the kid around. And
he's still around?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who amongst us has someone who's wronged us in the past? Have they slipped your mind? Do you still remember them?
Well, I mean,
I don't hang out with them.
Well, they became friends because I guess Rick Jones was the only one who could talk to Frankenstein. You know, he was the one that could talk to the Hulk. So Rick Jones,
that character usually gets drowned by Frankenstein.
Yeah, and
that's how that usually works.
He just keeps getting thrown in the water and he keeps swimming back. Hey, Hulk, that was pretty fun.
God damn it!
Raise the arms that reach to hold somebody new. But my yearning heart keeps saying you're not mine. My troubled mind knows soon to another you'll be with. And that's why I'm lonesome all the time.
Comic books went down to the point where they were the biggest they were, and they were the smallest they ever were in the 90s. In the 90s, they were selling millions of copies of books. To put in perspective today, if your book sells like 80,000 copies, you're killing it. If it's like 200,000 copies, you're great guns. Great job, buddy. Yeah. 1 million is unheard of right now for any comic book by any creator, by any company ever.
Sure.
But back then, they sold 8 million copies of X-Men #1 drawn by Jim Lee in the 90s. I hate to run afoul of this guy because he's very powerful in comics, but his name is Jim Valentino, and he was a member of the original Image crew, which basically were comic book artists.
Like Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld had his own fucking jeans ad. Him and Dennis Miller had fucking Levi jeans ad. They would play on regular television.
Dennis Miller? Oh, no.
Dude, yeah, because it's the 90s, but he didn't turn into a total cunt until 9/11.
I was going to say, he didn't have his heel turn, his 9/11 heel turn yet.
Yeah, he became Dennis Miller, NWO Dennis Miller.
Hollywood.
I'm Hollywood Dennis Miller.
I guess he's the opposite of Hollywood. Yeah. He's Santa Barbara Dennis Miller.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where he lives now.
Yeah, so basically...
What's his actual address?
In the 90s, people of Spawn.
Dude, exactly.
Oh, dude.
Exactly. So the Spawn was one of the characters that the people who were running Marvel, or who were doing the greatest work at Marvel, the most highest selling work, did. Todd McFarlane was doing a Spider-Man book that was outselling everything. And so when he said, fuck y'all, I'm gonna do my own Spider-Man with a big goofy fucking cape.
Yeah.
From hell.
Yeah, and from hell. Yeah, Spider-Man from hell with Richard Lewis. This is Spider-Man from hell. So basically Jim Valentino was not the talent that they were, but he was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, sure.
He was like me in the comedy community. Like, I'm cool in the locker room. I can't really play, but I'm cool. I'm a locker room stick. I'm a glue guy.
Yeah.
Glue guy. Hey, that's what George Lucas was apparently for a lot of that shit.
Dude,
you know?
Exactly. So the glue guy was this guy Jim Valentino who drew like some Guardians of the Galaxy back when they were like that dude Yondu.
Yeah,
he was one of the main Guardians of the Galaxy back when they. He was like a good guy.
Did he have an Alabama accent at that time?
No, I couldn't hear it through the pages, Rivers.
Okay.
Let them speak to you, man.
Yeah. But basically, Jim Valentino left when all the big guns left. So it'd be like if Eddie Murphy, Stephen Wright, Mitch Hedberg, and fucking Jesus all left a certain comedy collective, and then fucking I don't know what's a middling guy, not Amazing Jonathan, but somebody around there. Like one of these guys.
He's kind of glowing up right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's getting this shine. I can't even diss right now. Like Jeff Dunham pre-puppets or something.
Ooh, wow.
Or like a pre-cable guy. Like right before he found the cable guy shtick, when Dan Whitney was like just doing some jokes, he was okay. If he had left along with these luminaries, he's like, what is he gonna do? So Jim Valentino's contribution was a hero who looked very much like Wolverine and Batman had a baby. And his power was being strong and jumping and stuff. And his shtick was he would catch criminals and he would break their spines. And the big thing he was just a spine breaker. That's his whole gimmick. He was a backbreaker guy and he had AIDS. Discuss.
Damn, I can relate to this character.
I break backs and I have AIDS.
It's from Jump Street. It's established he's got AIDS, right?
Oh, I think very early on they established that he was fighting not only crime,
but
also
right. There's at some point, he's like buying condoms or he's about to share a needle or something, and he's like, well,
cruising in a bathhouse.
I'm gonna break some backs tonight.
Aliens are attacking New York, and my immune system is attacking me.
So that also, like you said, like fiction hold up. So that puts a time when this was written, when this character was created. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
During the AIDS scare.
So yeah, when you look at characters, you start to see ones that are like.
Spawn has AIDS.
Is that true?
No.
I don't know.
He's got AIDS hell. I mean, hell AIDS. Yeah, and I think
the worst flavor of Kool-Aid.
AIDS hell.
Hell AIDS. AIDS hell.
Yeah, right next to like aluminum cancer. AIDS hell has got to be the worst flavor of Kool-Aid.
So yeah, again, most comic book characters, when you really look at them, they're really fucking stupid, and it doesn't take a smart person to look at them being stupid. But what's interesting is the ones that are super stupid and still work.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say is like the dumbest character that still works?
I mean, I don't want to be rude, but fucking Batman.
Is it Batman? Yeah, I was going to say.
I think Batman is the dumbest one that still works because it's like, okay. I got $1 billion, and anytime I fight Superman, I put on a big suit of armor. But other than that, I walk around in pajamas getting kicked in my nuts by regular people fighting a clown. that makes me so mad. And like, if I may go off on a rant here, what makes me sick is they build up Batman as this dude who like, at like fucking 17, he goes, you know what, Alfred, you're a cool cat, but you can't teach me everything I need to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this young fucking $17 million in cash that I got squirreled away and go all around the world. I'm gonna go to the top of mountains and fight motherfuckers up there for supremacy. I'm gonna go to the bottom of oceans and learn how to scuba. I'm gonna go to NASCAR and learn how to drive. I'm gonna go to the ghetto and learn how to rap. I'm gonna go everywhere. I'm gonna go everywhere and learn how to do some dope shit.
Alfred can't teach you how to rap.
I'm sorry. I want 8 Mile Bruce Wayne, like that little section of Year One that got edited out, where he's Mom spaghetti, like he's just fucking
yo. My mom's and dad got shot in the alley. Now tell these people something they don't know about me.
When Harry met Sally, Mom and Dad in an alley. He throws up in the
Alfred's peanut butter sandwiches, crust cut off.
I can't be chill because Joe Chill killed my parents. Yeah.
I can't be chill. Oh, that's great. I'm not joking. But yeah.
I'm not joking. I leave the mic smoking.
This fucking has to happen.
Oh, Jesus.
But dude, so the thing,
Smoking like the gun that killed my parents. He just always references that. He can never get thematically beyond the death of his parents.
Yeah. My flow was tight. Have you ever seen the devil dance in the pale moonlight?
God damn it. Oh, this is
89 Tim Burton. I'll leave you all squirting. Oh, that's
dude,
weird.
But see, the thing is, like I said, I would love to think that he would be so proficient at rapping, but I think he'd be really terrible. I think he wouldn't get certain things about it. Yeah. You know, and so it'd be like
he would pick whack beats.
right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Common Sense used to. Like, God, you can rap so good, but these beats are trash.
Yeah, these beats are beneath you.
And then he loses the battle and he just beats the shit out of
I
everybody.
know, yeah, with all this kung fu that he learned with all that journey I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So basically, you have a character like that, which is already kind of like that's straining credulity all over the place.
Sure.
And then he comes back with all these skills. So like he's 24, maybe comes back from the 7, 8, 10-year thing. Maybe he's 24, he's 25. He comes back. He's probably, and I've done this spiel before, but and the rankings changed, but he's probably the 5th best driver in the world from what he's done to
Sure.
learn. He's probably the 4th best martial artist in the entire world.
Yeah.
He is unequivocally the best detective in the world.
Yeah.
He is probably the 5th best mountain climber in the world. He has just his stats are great.
Yeah.
And so he comes back to town and his main enemy is a fucking incel who doesn't know how to do stand up. And there's a certain demographic of motherfuckers, I think you know who I'm talking about, who would insist that a paragon of virtue, a person who literally virtue signals their good guy brand on the sky.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a certain type of person who needs to hate that guy, who needs to believe that 168-pound white clown can compare to that guy.
Yeah, sure.
There's a whole demographic of people, and I'm sorry, those people suck. Not all the people, but you know what I'm saying? The people who ascribe to this Joker needs to be as anywhere near what Batman is.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting and stupid. You know what I mean? Most other people's main villain is more powerful physically or mentally than the hero. But this is the one case where you got a dude who could fight his way out of hell, literally, and he runs up to the 168-pound clown with a fucking crowbar and has a problem every time. It's so
It's like what he represents, because Batman represents law and order, and the Joker represents anarchy, right? So it's like that's like the overarching theme behind there.
And there ain't nobody that likes chaos more than people who know that even in abject chaos, they'll be fine.
Right, yeah.
There ain't nobody who loves hitting rock bottom more than people who know they can never truly hit rock bottom. And that makes me sick about that whole Fight Club to Joker to all that shit. The people who don't get those things,
right?
That makes me mad because it's like, what is it? Why do you need to think that a person who just bombs his whole life? Why do you need to think that guy is good enough to contest paragons of virtue and super martial artists and brilliant people? Why do you need to think that they're in the same? They ain't even the same fucking sport.
Did you guys ever go to the Hooters on Hollywood? They're like show/open mic. There's a guy who dressed as the Joker there who did comedy.
Was he funny?
No, he always bombed. It was the guy who he worked out on Hollywood Boulevard as like a guy who would like take pictures with tourists, and then at night he would come up and he was dressed as the Joker still. And I had a long conversation with him one night.
Oh, really?
He started dressing as the Joker after his wife left him, like immediately
much like
after.
The actual Joker.
And he was looking to get a girlfriend to dress as Harley Quinn, but he wanted her specifically to be black because it'll, quote, freak people out.
Dude, did he write the new Joker movie?
His name was Todd Phillips.
Because they threw Zazie Bates in there to be like the love interest, so it could be like, you know, he can have this I don't know.
They may have talked to this guy on the street.
Oh my god!
No, hey,
Yeah,
focus grouping, baby.
we talked about this guy. Actually, you can go back last year. We did an episode with Anna Valenzuela about Great British Bake Off, but this was in the wake of, and you can see this on our YouTube, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Joe Raines saw a guy stick a souvenir Dodgers bat up his ass while playing the accordion at that open mic. So, yeah, it's
like
pretty
up
wild.
his ass.
Yeah, you can.
Wait, what else do you mean?
I mean, like
actually up his ass?
Well,
yes, exactly. That's precisely what I mean.
Well, people
saying figuratively.
I mean, like drop trowel and shoved it up his asshole in full view, and no one.
Yeah, he committed like I said, people listening to this have heard this story. So he committed a sex crime live on stage.
While it was a performance, you can't be arrested when you're performing.
Well, you know what? He could stick the thing up his ass, but then he started smoking, and they were like, "You're not Dave Chappelle."
There's
big time.
There's
Big
no
time over
children in there. If you're at Hooters, you can't bring kids in there past like 10 or something.
Oh, okay. Well, he was playing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." That was and then it was a baseball bat that went up there. Yeah, you can check it on our YouTube.
Buy me some peanuts and crackers. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I also told I memorized one of them Joker jokes. One of his jokes was he was like, "God, my girlfriend's parents are so annoying. They're always like, let me out of this trunk, let me out."
He used to be in a band before that too.
Yeah, tell me everything about the Joker. This is a perfect addendum to that.
Oh my god,
he's a born performer, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think he used to be in a band, and him and his wife used to tour some, and they both got sick of it. And then I don't know, his wife.
They both.
Yeah, did the country get sick of them?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just. The thing is, it was weird to talk to a guy who dresses up on Hollywood Boulevard and takes pictures.
Yeah.
Because they're still in their costume, especially. Because it like humanizes them in a whole different way.
Oh, dude.
Otherwise, you just walk straight past and like, okay, you fucking freak. I'm not talking to you, Chewbacca.
Yeah, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah. Dude, I know a guy who married a lady who did one.
Wait,
who
what
did
character?
One of those acts. I don't know. I don't want him to listen to this.
Okay, fine.
But let's say it was Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And it's just like, hey, if you're gonna pick one, you know what I mean? Because you could vet everything and be like, all right, nice shape. Are you more insane than me as a stand-up comedian in LA? No, okay, cool.
Probably makes more money.
Oh yeah, dude. No, more consistent money at the least.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just weird to talk to the Joker because it was one of those things.
In that moment, you were talking to the Joker.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it's just like, oh, this guy has like, he has a story, and he's not like totally an idiot, but he shouldn't continue stand-up comedy as a pursuit in anything.
And that is another thing. I'm sorry, I fucking hate about this new-est conception of the Joker. I grew up on the tried and true stupid ass conception of the Joker, which is he's unknowable. He's just some elemental force that comes from. That is stupid as fuck.
Yeah,
but at least that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in comic books. In comic books, the one way you can make a character go from a great character to a shitty ass character is to explain too much about him. Happened to fucking Wolverine.
It happened to Jesus. No, in the book of Mark, Jesus just walks out of the desert. No virgin birth, no Christmas, none of that shit. It's literally just like John the Baptist is dunking heads, and then this dude shows up and says he's the son of God. And then they go fucking retcon that shit in Luke and Matthew and give him a fucking virgin birth and a backstory, and there's a manger and all that shit. And you're like, you've devalued this character's stock. Like
his issue number 1 used to be $100.
Yeah. God, what were you doing?
Now it's only $3.16.
There we go.
But I just want to.
I wish I had a bell.
The cool thing about the Joker is those purple pants. Am I right?
That's true.
True.
Him, the Hulk. I mean, purple pants really are flattering.
He had a good suit.
I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun, and I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight talker. I play my music on the run, yeah.
Evening, Commissioner.
I got one here. The Legion of Super Pets. There's Super Horse, Crypto the dog, Streaky the cat, and Super Monkey, a chimpanzee.
What if like they only
These are Superman. Why does Superman need a fucking horse?
Why does he need a monkey?
What if like the only power that all these pets have is that they talk? Like that's the only power that all these animals
that's
have.
kind of cool, you know, but
And they're just like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
I have to shit. I'm tired. I'm horny.
But also, okay, if you think about superpowers, okay, let's just break it on down. If you think about superpowers, the reason why you need superpowers, in quotes, superpowers is because you can see the world.
Yeah.
And you can see how inadequate your physical body is. So you're a person, so you know how dope it would be to be able to fly to Japan under your own power, eat some sushi, and fly back in the blink of an eye. You know how cool that is. A fucking horse? How the fuck does a horse appreciate being able to fly super fast?
Well, it would probably just scare the shit out of them.
That's what I'm saying.
This like you just grant the horse like the ability to fly one day, and it bashes itself against the top of the barn until it kills itself because it doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
I actually think this
The Godfather's itself immediately.
Yeah, it's flying past some power lines.
Yeah.
Because
I've flown to every place from here to Calcutta.
There is no doubt because that at some point they're gonna, because I've heard of Crypto the dog. He's the only one I've ever heard of.
Right.
They're gonna try to like
his power is being like really into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Crypto.
He just won't shut up about server farms, bro. My server farm. I mean, it does overheat my house, but it's pretty cool. I'm making about $36 a day.
Oh, it's cute. Look at all that cash you have on hand. I wonder how. Hope you have a lighter and set that on fire. It's gonna be worthless pretty
All
soon.
that cash you have on Paul.
Yeah, on Paul.
But there's no doubt they're gonna at some point try to get Crypto into the DC universe, because in a world where there's limitless possibilities, they're gonna find some dumbass way to bring this dog in. You guys have given me a great idea for how to bring the dog in, which is that some villain. A great way to just fuck with Superman's day is for some villain to get some sort of ray that can just give Superman's powers to anything. And then for him to just unleash it on a zoo. And all of a sudden, a bunch of terrified animals, now they can stampede in the air, you know, and they're just scared and super powered, and Superman has to stop them.
A super anaconda.
That's what I mean.
Slithering through the fucking sky.
This is a great idea. And then just putting holes in buildings and cars and shit.
Man, fuck seeing like a wildfire like that far away. Can you imagine you saw like an army of snakes flying towards your house? You're like, I may as well.
And they have uncontrollable laser vision.
No.
They're scared. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Everything's getting sliced the fuck up.
I'm saying, like, that's the pitch, man. Have a bunch of animals with Superman's powers, and then at the end of the movie, Superman gets it under control, and he leaves one dog, and it's fucking Crypto. That's how you bring him in a way that's not totally fucking lame.
Wow.
But I do want to fucking see, snakes.
They'll look at you like the Joker from Hollywood Boulevard.
No, I'll come dressed as the Joker. I have a few ideas.
I used to be in a band.
You wanna read my screenplay?
Would you like to be my Harley Quinn?
Yeah. He's like shows you his screenplay, and it's like he's like,
You want to know how I got these notes? Before I took a screenwriting class.
That's why he paints red around his lips, because like the red all over his scripts from people nodding revisions. He's like, this pen.
Yeah. My father was a critic. He didn't appreciate my screenplays.
My name is Jimmy Ebert.
I just wanted her to read the screenplay. You know?
I'm gonna make this female lead disappear.
So what else you got there in the rank?
Oh yeah. Let's see. There's from Flash Comics. This looks very old. The Fiddler.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
It's the guy who channels his magical powers through his violin.
Like I said, anything, and this is not being pejorative, anything that got created by 1940s dudes trying to dodge the fucking draft.
Oh yeah,
and doing 400 pages of comics a week.
That's cool. You
for
get
10
past.
cents a page.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? To keep themselves out of,
Yeah.
None of that counts.
The fiddler, the piddler, the smiddler. Yeah, they just went through the list.
There's a guy in Fantastic Four called he's got two names. He's either called the Trapster or my favorite, Paste Pot Pete.
I thought the Trapster was Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
If you get jammed up, don't mention my name. Paste Pot Pete.
Got this crypto dog.
I got this crypto
dog. Animals flying.
Oh man.
Fuck.
Animals flying.
Shooting lasers everywhere. Yeah.
Scared.
You sold the Joker 10 bricks. Yeah.
The Joker.
800-page screenplay.
Dude, the Joker sells you a bunch of fucking cocaine. You go to open it, it's just snakes. Just like, ha. Oh god, the Joker would be so fucking killed.
Oh fuck.
And that's another thing. I think regular criminals would fucking kill the Joker because if you think about it, Gotham's patrolled by one dumb asshole. Well, okay, excuse me, one super smart asshole.
Yeah.
And arguably depending when you're talking about it, one partner to three.
Yeah.
And they're all human beings with human foibles, and they can only cover so much area.
Right.
You could have what's that line in fucking Die Hard 3 when they fucking take down the shit and all the cops are busy and like little kids are stealing stuff because all the cops are busy, like, you can steal City Hall.
Yeah.
That's what the kid says. That's what Gotham would be like all day, every day.
Yeah.
If not for the Joker. The Joker is the one who brings the goddamn heat.
Yeah.
Real criminals kill the person who's bringing all the fucking heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Causing too much trouble. Yeah.
Right.
He's just antagonizing Batman.
Right. It's just like I don't know. They would murder the fuck out of him. But so like basically like Batman is the dumbest one that works because you got to buy the fact that a billionaire gives a fuck about poor people.
Right. Yeah.
Even enough to beat him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even enough to beat him up.
It does kind of
That's the
canonize
fantasy.
rich people.
Right. Well, most comic books do because
He
I
would
think
call their manager and get him fired.
Yeah, because back in the days, it was like people knew. I mean, these are Depression era kids. That's another thing. Richness is such a superpower in most comic books because most of the people making these things in the 40s and 50s and 60s were from poor people.
Right.
So, so a bunch of money was as good or better than being able to fly to these motherfuckers because it is.
Yeah.
And so that's why Batman has endured as a super rich person. Oliver Queen, the fucking Green Arrow, was a goddamn rich person.
Yep.
Fucking almost all the heroes are in some way rich. Either they don't need, especially in DC, they either don't need money or they're rich as fuck.
Right.
Wonder Woman don't need money. Saunter your ass into the gas company and be like, hey, motherfucker, I need, whatever you need, you're going to get it.
Yeah. That is the thing that they never really address with particularly with Wonder Woman and Superman, where it's just like Superman doesn't have to eat.
Well, they fall prey into the whole like they are too powerful. Like they have no. I mean, Superman has a clearly defined weakness. Is that kryptonite?
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Is that like he's that and the whole his ridiculous costume is a pair of glasses, but like or his cover up is a pair of glasses.
Even his weakness is stupid though, because besides the 1950s comics when everybody had kryptonite, it'd be like if I would have total dominion over you guys in this room. I'm so powerful, but if you brought a piece of Havarti cheese in here, I would just fucking melt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh man,
that doesn't. Okay, there's Havarti cheese out there.
Yeah,
you can drive and get some, but you're probably not going to get it by the time I'm through with my dominion. I'll be done.
He's like
even that's
really
more
allergic, like shellfish style.
Yeah. Even it just makes him shit immediately. Like,
now that'd be a better use of fucking.
Just make Superman shit his pants.
Because usually,
his pants.
Yeah, because usually it's always like, oh, the radiation is stopping. No, it's like, oh, I'm gonna shit.
I gotta go home.
Yeah. Like he's embarrassed and like he's like he knows he shit his pants, but he's not gonna say anything. He's just like he's so like even the person being saved is like, oh, it smells terrible in here.
And we've all, and like I said, I don't want to say we, but I have certainly when I was older than I should have been, shat my pants. And the
yeah.
and the machinations you do to hide that, just imagine the super machinations. Like he flies to Machu Picchu and throws his underwear in a fucking volcano.
I have. You ever just seen someone?
I shit my pants. Oh boy.
When you see someone like own shitting their pants, like when you see like a grown adult just like shit their pants, and then you're like, "What's that smell?" And they're like, "I shit my pants." So you like look at him like this third eye open motherfucker. Like and truly, he knows true calm. This guy doesn't crack under pressure.
Give him the CIA secrets; he'll never break.
Oh god!
One time I shit my pants at a party. There's a girl like sitting in my lap when I shit my pants.
Oh wow!
And then I was like, I gotta decide what to do here.
Oh my god!
And so I went to the bathroom. I take off my underwear and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't just throw it in the trash can for them to find a shitty pair of underwear. And it was a duplex where the fences, like in the backyard, a fence separates them. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna open the window and throw them into the neighbor's backyard. And so that's what I did. And then next time I talked to somebody at the party, they just saw me and go, "Did you shit your pants?" And I was like, "No." Why would you ask me something like that?
Like, have you ever met me? Have you ever really met me? Do I look like the kind of guy?
Yeah, you saw me blackout drunk at that party. And I would never shit my pants.
I like to think that neighbor like found that your shitty underwear and like had an existential crisis. So like, am I losing my mind?
I mean,
am I Tyler Durden? Did I take a shit?
Tyler Durden, yeah, to bring it back around.
I just imagine the neighbor knew that she was having a party, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did they bring that up? Like, I found a shitty pair of underwear.
Sam Harder.
Yeah, you don't need to be Mycroft Holmes to solve that case.
That question always comes up is like, how do you make Superman more relatable? That's it.
Shit.
Yeah, like kryptonite's because it comes from another planet too. It's like it's not even like Havarti cheese you could get at your local grocery store.
Yeah.
Kryptonite, you have to go to another fucking planet. To
Right,
get.
but you just pointed at Superman. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go home."
Yeah,
I gotta go,
dude. And the thing is that
Talk about humanizing
the
him, too.
super toilet is just made out of jagged crystals and shit.
Yeah, it's the Fortress of Solitude.
What the fuck are you shitting on a bunch of jagged?
That's why he built the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
so he had a place to go where no one would
so
ever
you
know.
take these atomic shits.
melting the polar ice caps.
It's like, yo, hey, Superman, you know something about this Greenland shit? Nope.
I gotta go home. This looks like it's also from the Legion of Superheroes thing, the bouncing boy.
It looks like Carter and Rivers and I all looked when we were young.
Yeah.
Really? Let me turn around here.
There's we'll put all these on our Twitter so you can see them. Yeah, the bouncing boy. Let's see. There's someone called Maggot. Who's
Maggot is yeah.
He's got telepathy.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Squirrel Girl, son of a bitch.
What's Squirrel Girl?
That's like kind of a popular one, though, right?
Yeah, what Squirrel Girl is, you know what Squirrel Girl is? Squirrel Girl is Marvel's The Joker. And, but she's not bad, obviously. Mm-hmm. But what she is, she's this character who's just stupidly powerful for no reason. Like she if you said Squirrel Girl, go defeat Thanos, she'd be like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. But as she engaged Thanos would slip on a banana peel, knock his head on the sink. You know what I mean? Like if something happens to you when you try to fuck with Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Girl's beating Dr. Doom. Squirrel Girl's beating so many people because she's just got this youthful insouciance and it's just sort of, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, and she's kind of like this audience surrogate / look how stupid this medium is type character.
Oh, okay.
Is like people like Deadpool, but worse and for women.
Okay.
If that's controversial, I'm sorry.
Is what powers of a squirrel does she have?
The basic stuff.
Scurries, yeah.
She can scurry real good.
She can become roadkill very easily.
Look, she can scurry very good. She can hide things very well. even from herself. You know, they say something like squirrels only find like 20% of the nuts they hide.
Yeah,
and that's where fucking trees come from or some shit.
Oh yeah, I've heard that theory.
What the fuck? So she could do shit like that, and her most important power, she can, for no particular reason at all, be more attractive than a rat. You know, because that squirrel's for your ass. That bushy tail is what separates them from being a fucking rat.
Yeah.
That you just want to murder on sight.
What you know about Crazy Quilt?
I don't know. I know that is a character. I don't know anything about Crazy Quilt.
Okay. Yeah, it's I think it's a Batman villain, it looks like. Oh, Apache Chief! Come on.
Well, Apache Chief doesn't even come from comics. I don't think. Maybe some Zoidberg out there will fucking.
That's just from Super Friends.
Yeah, I think that's just and the power of.
He could just become big as shit, right?
Right. It's like, okay, that's great. Like, I don't know what to do with that. I've never understood the big giant character. Obviously, Ant-Man is cool because he can get really little, he can get really big.
He can do both.
He controls his size. That's great. But being able to just get really big is like Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan can't get no pussy. Nobody talks about that at all. He would be a psycho. You talk about an incel super villain. Paul Bunyan. He's out there fucking volcanoes in the mouth and just jacking off with redwood trees and shit. Like, there's no way. He's fucking that ox is what's happening. He's a fucking bestiality with this giant fucking ox.
It's shooting lasers out of its eyes, the ox is. Just
babe, stop shooting. Oh, there is a character I think in super like DC comics that's called Babe that is an ox.
Really?
Yeah. Hey man, I love DC, but DC has a mythic bent to them, whereas Marvel has a science bent, and I think that makes all the difference in regards to how stupid. Like if you think about Iron Man is Batman. Iron Man is like, yo, I'm a rich ass dude. Okay, I decide to fight crime. I'm gonna do mine in a fucking suit of armor that's impregnable against all attacks and shit. I'm gonna do mine in a leotard with some kung fu darts in my belt. That's where you done fucked up. If you go fight crime, you get in a big fucking jet and you fuck people up. You get in, Optimus Prime and you go fuck people up.
Do you think like the science bent lends itself to where they can create like a collaborative atmosphere? I don't know if collaborative is a word, but like the Marvel universe, everyone's involved and everyone plays a part. And then because like it's kind of the way in science, like science could be like a you know what I'm saying? Like myths are kind of like better told as like stories with morals or like fables.
Well, from absolute authority,
right?
Myths come from an absolute authority of I'm motherfucking Aesop or I'm Jesus and I'm telling you what it is, daddy. That whole thing. Whereas the scientists have to go, well, peer, will you review my work? Will you review my work? Peer, you review my work? Peer, all this peer shit. Marvel does have more peers than fucking DC does. DC has the big three and a bunch of fucking kneeling sycophants.
They got Booster Gold.
Right, yeah. It falls pretty, but obviously, again, somebody who likes DC Comics could think I'm being a little bit dismissive. I love DC Comics. I think they're a long-running company for a reason. They're not number two to me. That both of the two companies are doing about the same amount of business, I think, right now. They're both just struggling along with publishing. It's like the two competing buggy whip factories. Like, why would you root against one? That doesn't make too much sense to me. I like boogie whips, and I would like for them to continue to be made so that because comic books are giving a lot of people. I hate the word IP, intellectual property, but if you think about it, all the work of these oldsters back in the days, work for hire. Some of these guys should be getting fat checks now from some of this stuff. They should be. A lot of times they aren't. Marvel has been shamed into paying money to families of guys who are like the guy Bill Mantlo. He created Rocket Raccoon. He has like inoperable ass cancer and shit, and he was just like, well, sorry, buddy. Motherfucker, how much money did you make off of this stupid fucking thing he made?
It's a goddamn ride.
Dude, this dude took...
It's a ride now.
This dude took a giant bong rip in 1972 and gave y'all niggas $800 billion. So why don't you help him?
Kevin Feige's got that look of like the billionaire son where he's just like, and we'll take it and we'll make it into a brand new thing. He's got like that overexcited sort of thing where he's like...
Right, and it's almost sociopathic. It's like thinking like these people exist. Me and Rivers talk about sociopathy when we're coming in. It's like people who think other people exist just for their means.
Sure.
Or just to be an accoutrement to their life.
Yeah,
You know
they're
what I
not
mean?
using the thing they created right. I know how to do it.
Right, and where does that mentality come from? Look at all this land. There's no skyscrapers. You guys are stupid. Take these blankets. It's a real shitty mentality, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Shit, I think I might be a sociopath.
well, the good news is just stop believing in us and we'll all disappear. That's the good news.
When I got into comic books, I kind of got in during a shitty era. Like I was just into like when I initially got like I'm into it now because of like the research of it. I'm like reading like I'm reading Mouse right now, which is incredible and like all like the
huge bummer.
Yeah, huge bummer. So I'm told. But it's like so I'm catching all of like these like really artistically complex this wave of it. Going back, looking back. When I got into it, I got into like the Rob Liefeld, like everyone has like these huge banana fingers and muscles coming out of their necks, like comics. So like I guess the worst ones were just like the laziest written ones, the ones that were just retreads of other characters.
Well, Image first started doing like stuff they would do like they would just take like designs from like Marvel characters that they'd drawn a lot and just put some extra shit on them. Like Homeboy was talking about Spawn.
Yeah.
Spawn is the way Tom McFarlane drew Spider-Man with a fucking cape.
Yeah.
And then some rock and roll punk studs that you get from Hot Topic.
Right.
Wrapped around different
He looks
areas.
fucking cool.
He does look cool.
Yeah, it kind of deals with PTSD. He's a soldier.
Yeah, he's a soldier. And one thing I do got a laud Image comics for, though. Shadowhawk, that horrible AIDS character, was black, and fucking Spawn was black.
Yeah,
and
that's
those those being kind of flagship characters for a new company, and not being like, hey, black guy with the lightning powers. All the black guys have lightning powers. Look it up. I didn't make that up. It's terrible. It's a weird trope that happens over and over and over and over.
Oh shit! So Shadowhawk was the character you're talking about that had AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay. I remember reading.
And I think they revealed that about him almost as a like, dude, you'll never forget what happens in this issue.
A very special episode.
I fucking remember that.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's like, well, we can't send Shadowhawk to get molested by the guy at the bicycle store. Like,
damn,
that was a
great pull.
That was Valiant Comics, right?
The Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk was in he had his own imprint in Image, I guess, because Jim Valentino and them went. And with like Eric Larson. Eric Larson made a character called Savage Dragon, which is the Hulk with a fucking fin coming out of his head.
Yeah, but he's a cop too.
And he's a cop.
And he's a cop?
He's a Chicago cop.
He's a Chicago cop.
Dude, what was interesting about that was he would always like he was like little. But that was cool. He was very buff, but he was very short.
Yeah.
So he'd be looking up to your stupid sergeant that bangs the desk and goes, "Damn it, McGarnagle, your lone cannon ways."
Yeah.
You know, like he's looking up to that guy.
So he just is Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. But he has a mohawk. But he has a big fin that resembles a mohawk.
He's Hank from Breaking Bad with a mohawk.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
And there was like mashups between him and like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all the time, as I recall.
Yeah,
they're kind of in the
Teenage
same
Mutant Turtles,
universe.
They put that in the Green Ghetto books.
Right. Yeah.
Like all the green characters. Hey, Green Lantern, you can't come here. You're white, even though you're green. but yeah, I think most of the comic book characters that are thought out well, you can pick holes in them. But the ones that are just like, damn, like I never liked the Angel. Like, okay, you can fly, but about as fast as like a big fat bird.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like if somebody shoots you in your wing, you just fall down as a regular guy and you fuck yourself up. Fuck that.
Like, was that Angel's? I'm not as familiar with X-Men. Was that Angel's only thing?
That was his only thing.
He could just fly.
And I think maybe if you ask some,
he's a big ass seagull.
Yeah, if you ask some super dork, they'll be like, "Well, obviously he had a subcutaneous layer of blah 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 over his eyes that make the wind shear off just like a bird. His bones are quite hollow, and but all the stupid shit. Some
bones
nerd
are
will tell
hollow.
You.
Yeah, he's incredibly easy to break.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. There are certain characters where you're just like, oh, this is bad. And then you think of certain characters where it's like, oh, what if they couldn't turn their powers off? They'd be shitty. Like Iceman is a very powerful character.
Yeah.
But if he couldn't turn that off, just imagine trying to get some coochie. Your dick is hella cold. you can't even get the second base. It's like, oh, stop it.
When I think about like the laziestly written or the really lazy written characters, they're always like mercenaries. And they're always like, they have a past that's not described. And it's like this, and they all have like names that are just like Kill Blast or like like gun hand or like
gun hand.
And they always wear a mask, so you can't see their face. And it's like the same like copy of the Deadpool mask where there's like 2 circles on it, and and they're called like fucking
All right, reboot of Arm Fall Off Boy is he's also gun hand. So his arm falls off and just
it just starts shooting a bunch like that gun in True Lies when it was falling down the steps.
Yeah.
And it shot all the terrorists. That's his stick. It comes in. You guys stop. Boop. There's this character named Bushwhacker,
and he licks people's heads on the way out.
Yes, Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker had a cybernetic arm that made a gun and made different types of guns. Like he could make a shot. He could kind of throw his arm out Andrew Dice Clay style. When Andrew Dice Clay is about to smoke a cigarette, how he throws his arm out.
Yeah.
If he did that, it would become a shotgun.
Yeah.
If he did like a pointer finger, it would become like a 45 and so on and so forth. Different types of gun, but he had his hand.
Right.
Which is kind of fresh. Like he fought people like Punisher. Punisher's like, this motherfucker never runs out of ammo. So I mean, there's all kind of characters like that. And like I like street level people because as much as I like comic books, I've never really, maybe it's cultural or whatever, but I've never dug super god characters who don't have any consequences.
Right.
I never thought that was cool. I always like people who are just like, I got this one special thing and these motherfuckers trying to stop me and I got to use the best of my special thing to even survive this mission. That was my favorite guys.
Yeah.
So like even Batman, the best Batman stories are just, yo, I'm doing some shit. I'm investigating. Oh, I investigate some shit. Let's go check it out as Batman. Batman's scrolling around, checking it out. Oh shit, there's some shit here. Oh, I'm gonna fight it real quick because I'm super great at fighting. Oh fuck, they fucked me up. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Jump out the window, land. Alfred, come get me. This is fucked. And he's looking at the lab. I gotta study why these motherfuckers fucked me up so bad. Oh, that's why they fucked me up so bad. Oh, I got some for your ass. Go back as Batman and fuck them up and win the day. Yeah. That's every great Batman story.
I was going to say, that's pretty much all of them. Yeah.
That's every great one is that. And the ones that aren't great aren't that. They're just him beating up people for no reason or dropping on people and stopping muggers and then sort of existentially staring at the sky.
Why do I do this?
Yeah, anything that doesn't have that basic format I just said of guy with ultimate abilities is challenged on his ultimate abilities and ultimately prevails.
Yeah.
Anything that isn't that sucks when you're dealing with a street level hero. And with a superhero, how do you even test these guys' limits? Superman, how do you test their limits?
Superman always seems like there's some point where he's in space and he becomes like a supernova. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. There's like some point where he becomes this all-consuming god character. And like the ones that are deemed like important Superman stories where he's in space and he's just like lights exploding out of him.
Yeah, All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is a very important Superman story, and I would encourage readers to read it because that to me that humanizes Superman.
Okay,
that story is the story to humanize Superman and to make all that shit cool. But like I said, as far as like people who suck,
I think our story of pants shitting kryptonite is how we humanize Superman.
Yeah, pants shitting kryptonite. And
no.
Also, have you seen that video? I know it's maybe viral and maybe it's a ghost to talk about any sort of viral video, but I just saw this video. I was thinking of it like, you talked about the super zoo.
Yeah.
What does the panda do? I think the panda uses his eye beams to slice the cage open just enough to reach a hot dog that was dropped and drag it back into the cage and eat it. And that's it. Just chilling. You know what I mean? Because like the pandas suck ass. They don't deserve to live. Period.
Their meat is delicious.
I don't. They suck.
If we made coats out of them, that'd be nice, bro.
Dude,
the fur looks pretty.
Fucking luxurious.
I like to think in this zoo in front of it. There's a kid with a hot dog and his bun just goes like slips right out of the hot dog bun and tortures the panda until it gets eye laser powers.
Dude, because dig it, the fucking I saw this video of a panda. Panda is not swaddling, but hugging or whatever fucking pandaing its kid. The panda's pandaing its kid and grooming it and like, oh, my little baby, I love you. A fucking lady comes in with an apple, puts it in front of the panda's face. Panda drops the kid on his fucking head.
Hell yeah.
And starts eating the apple. And I'm like, fuck y'all. You don't deserve it. You won't fuck. And when you do fuck, you don't care about your kids. Fuck you. You suck. Why are we spending all this effort? You know what I mean? Use those funds on anything else.
Oh, I made a dreadful mistake. Oh, let bygones be bygones. I'd like to shake hands with both of you. Can't we be friends?
I'd rather shake hands with a spitting cobra.
You're being cynical, Robin. To err is human, to forgive divine.
How do you feel about those guys that use superhero emblems on their like car or hat or t-shirt? Like you see some people with the Superman logo.
Yeah.
Deadpool's very popular. Punisher is also a thing you see all the time now.
Okay. How about this? How about this as a game? Let's name some basic characteristics of people who have the different logos, because there's different personalities to every one of those logos.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you have Deadpool, you definitely love pranking your sister.
Yeah, you think you're funny.
Oh, you really think you're funny, and the amount of Mountain Dew you drink is just fucking phenomenal. Like your piss is chartreuse.
If Deadpool's your thing, you're like you're in your group of friends, you consider yourself the one who's like over all this shit. You know? You could like you're kind of above it a little bit.
More a little bit.
You probably hate women.
Yeah.
Well, only I don't hate the cool ones.
Yeah.
How many cool ones are there? Like 6. And they're all just hot Twitch chicks.
Yeah.
Or
E-girls he follows.
Or the girl who works at Wetzel's is cool. She's nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for extra salt. She didn't act like a fucking cunt.
Yeah. She's not a bitch like the girl at Chinatown Express.
I will say,
Also, if you're
he is the one that has done mushrooms. The guy, the Deadpool guy.
Deadpool guy?
I think so, because he sees it's all meta, man. It's all bull.
But see, and the Venn diagram starts to skew because the guy who likes Silver Surfer, like I've seen some surfer people with surfer shit.
Oh,
that guy's done mushrooms too. But he doesn't want to do mushrooms with the Deadpool guy.
He's done so many mushrooms he doesn't know that's Silver Surfer. He was just like, surfing sticker.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Deadpool guy has done mushrooms and hung out in like the food court of a mall for like an entire day.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, because he had to do that after he bought the shirt at Spencer's Gifts.
well, let's do the Superman Venn diagram, because I've always
you're
been
Shaq.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of successful people.
Very
choose,
successful people love the Superman logo, or people who think they're very successful,
like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, they think they're like perfect in some
I don't
way.
even know if they think they're perfect. It's just people who are like, that'll give you that like success brain bullshit of just like, listen, I listened to 400 hours of uninterrupted Tony Robbins. My brain is functioning on a wavelength that is unassailable.
Right.
I'm gonna sell so much more fucking Herbalife than you and everyone you know. Like, they're success crazies.
Yeah,
you know.
I think about like Nicolas Cage. He's just like, I come from another planet, just kick ass.
Yeah, he named his son Kal-El.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he named himself after Luke Cage.
That's
a
right.
notoriously impervious character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Nicolas Cage, being the gambling degenerate he is, probably thinks he's infallible.
Yeah, he's going in there. Yeah, my supervision is seeing through your cards. I'm gonna hit on 10.
He did beat
22 black.
he did beat up Vince Neil after Vince Neil slapped a lady. So Nicolas Cage, like we said in our Nicolas Cage episode, he's our best human, like Superman.
Oh no, I like Nick Cage a lot.
He's the best amongst us.
Well, dude, I think Nick Cage is emblematic just really quickly, my whole Nick Cage thing is, okay, you're born as a Coppola.
Yep.
You say, fuck the Coppola name. I'm going to name myself something else. And then you try to go do auditions supposedly on your own merit.
Yeah.
And then you become super, supposedly. I say supposedly because I don't know. But the bottom line is you get.
We talked about this in the episode because we did a whole Nicolas Cage episode. And my theory was, I was like, yeah, that's his party line. Literally, he's never been on television. He went straight into Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, he started with movies. There was no commercials. There was no come up. Just boom. So I love the guy, but
that's a little suspect.
Even if he's going on auditions with a different name, there's somebody in the back going, "Hey, your nose, kitty."
Yeah,
oh no, that's Hollywood is so incestuous.
Yeah.
It's like one tentacle not knowing what the other tentacles are doing.
Right.
It's like but
then Nick Cage is coming home like, "Dad, I got it."
but think about it. So he does all that. He becomes super successful, like the most successful actor empirically.
Yeah.
And then loses it all. And now he's like in your red box all day, every day.
Yeah.
But he's still doing the work. He could probably do 27 red box movies in a row and get done and be able to retire some kind of way. But he doesn't want to. I think he wants to work.
Well, part of that he has to pay off the divorce settlements.
Oh, yeah,
that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
No, it's just like how it's just like people used to say, like, Samuel Jackson works a lot. Samuel L. Jackson is a black movie star. He has to work 3.5 times.
Yeah, sure.
as hard.
Absolutely.
As fucking like Tom. He was talking about, hey, I want Tom Hanks money, and then for me to get Tom Hanks money, I got to work 3 or 4 times harder. I got to work way more to get up to any level like that. So yeah, the economy of Hollywood is. But I'd love to be an overused actor, like the fucking
yeah.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Superman brain. What about
so it's so far we've got
well, it's confident people. That's number
it's
one.
confidence, yeah.
People who understand that confidence is a key part of your power.
right? A
Because that is-
projection of confidence, at
Right,
least, even
right.
if
Of
it's not,
course, of course.
even if it's baseless.
Shaq loves Superman so much, he probably went in and pitched the movie Steel. And he pitched himself as the star, and he was already doing movies at that point. And they're probably just like, sure, whatever.
This is the only way I'll be able to do Superman.
I feel like if he was covered in it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, okay, so people who are into Superman,
success brain,
Superman,
Superman.
Booger Eaters, Deadpool,
Punisher, fucking fascist cops.
yeah, fascist cops, Punisher, Joker,
Who
sociopaths.
misunderstand the point of Punisher.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is Joker? Would you say sociopath or psychopaths or?
No, people who don't. I don't know.
Who
Don't
are like, don't mess with me, I'm crazy.
Well, yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. In my anti-Joker screed earlier, I know I probably made it seem like some screed against white boys. It is not. It is not just that. To me, what a big part of it is that type of person needs to believe that being crazy is as valuable as being intelligent.
Yeah,
it's
And
powerful.
that
yeah.
sucks because Batman's got all these plots and plans, pots and pans. He's so fucking smart. And then the person who gives him the most trouble is the guy who's chaos with no plan, but's also somehow as smart as him. So the failed stand-up comic went into a fucking Tony Robbins boot camp of strategy. And he comes out and he can fuck with one of the greatest minds of our planet. That a certain type of loser motherfucker needs to believe that that's possible.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't. I've always hated that character, and I've never been to, besides until this moment, been able to articulate why I hate him. Crazy ain't as good as being smart.
Yeah.
And fucking it just people believe that. I don't get them.
Right.
Because it makes you scary because people adhere to their structures, man.
Well,
Right.
it's. I mean,
Because like you be as crazy as you want. When I break out this Jeet Kune Do, you getting fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Be as crazy as you want.
Right.
It's not going to solve the problem you'll probably face fucking with somebody who really knows what they're doing. And I just hated that. This was my dream. If I was ever going to do a Joker story, this is my dream, and this is for free because I don't think DC will ever hire me, given all the shit I've said about them. So this is for free to the universe.
Hey, I still want to get hired for flying snakes, please.
Hire me, I'll be the janitor or something.
No, for real. But this will be my pitch. Find some way to motivate Joker. Basically, Joker's in Arkham Asylum for the 58th billionth time.
Yeah.
And he's about to do another breakout. And right as he's about to break out, somebody breaks in and they steal the Joker from Arkham. And they take him to like a black site prison. That's like the worst place in the world. Way worse than that place that Bruce Wayne went, that Bane was in the third one or whatever.
Yeah.
Way worse than that. I'm talking about glass for lunch type of place.
Yeah.
And he spends like 5 years there. And he, over the course of time, gets born again so goddamn hard from that experience that when he comes back to Gotham, he knows how to fight. He's more impervious to pain than he's ever been. He's actually smart because he's learned a bunch of Sartre and fucking Nietzsche and shit in prison. He's coming out like Max Cady. He's a bad motor scooter and he's got one mission is to fuck you up and all your kung fu fighting and your smarty smart shit. Now he's prepared for that. He's a born again hard super new villain. Maybe even gets something almost akin to a power, a piece of technology, something to where he can fuck with Batman's gadgets or something.
Yeah.
And I
Got
think that
razor blades in his cheeks.
Dude, his arms fall off, but they're guns.
Yeah, there we go.
But the guns all have bang coming out.
He produces a crystal that makes Batman shit his pants.
Oh, dude.
He's got a grill and he's got some shit tattooed all over him.
But see, that was another thing. How the fuck is Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad? Your power is to do ballet in a prison cell? That's your power? Like what? Misty Copeland could fucking be an Avenger? Like what are we talking about here? I don't understand that. Her power is to hit stuff with mallets and shit. She's not super anything. She would get totally fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But people have built this thing of like, oh, well, she's a gymnast. It's like, well, yeah, well, when I want to break into the Pentagon, I'm gonna take Simone Biles. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? I don't understand that shit. Like, even with comic books, I have a trouble suspending a lot of my disbelief, which is like such a cognitive dissonance. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, but that's why I like human level characters. Even Punisher. You say all those fascists. Me as a kid, Punisher was the one that I identified with, because if I was ever going to affect any change where the fuck I was at, it wasn't going to be from some highfalutin flying. It was going to be
directly.
Yeah, gun
Punisher's cool.
Well, no, that's
gun plus ass.
Well, that's why that's why I said is like the fascists misunderstand the point of the Punisher, which is like he's not a cop, but people who love cops love the Punisher.
Exactly.
Like you always see it's that fucking Dodge Charger with the goddamn black and white Blue Lives Matter flag with the one blue stripe.
Yeah.
And then the fucking Punisher, like the
and they
logo.
also just think it looks cool.
Yeah,
I
and you're
think.
just like,
just like the skull.
This is
They think
badass.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the whole story. It's kind of go over the law to take it's a vengeance. I mean, he's fueled on vengeance.
Right.
But he's anti the bureaucracy
of
police, and not just like, oh, well, you're giving people due process. No. When you know the person did the thing, but their rich daddy is able to get them off,
Exactly.
or their Senate family is about just trying to get them off and stuff like that, the Punisher would step in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what the Punisher was for. It wasn't just to like, oh, I see a bunch of black teens, whatever, doing dances around their boombox. Better load my Gaddis apparatus. Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's out there rapping with him, on his quest. Yeah.
20-year-old Bruce Wayne was killed by an assassin's bullet today.
I can't eat mom's spaghetti because my mom's dead.
We are presently pursuing some leads amongst the black students he was rapping with. Dude, I just think Punisher used to be, to me, like when I was thinking about the Punisher in comic books, characters look stupid when they have to kick it with people who make them look stupid.
Yeah.
When the Punisher with his fucking M60 like Rambo was standing there and he's in like he's some fucking Russian gangsters are slaving people, and he's opening up on a fucking house with an M60, and as he's set it on fire, and as they're streaming out, he's lighting him up with an M60.
Yeah.
That's magnificent. But when Spider-Man is throwing a Volkswagen and Thor is slamming the earth and magma's coming up and Storm is shooting lightning, that guy with the M60 looks like the dorkiest, dumbest shit you ever saw in your life.
Yeah.
Which is why I used to, but I think that imprinted on me when I was a kid. I read a Fantastic Four story, and it was literally Galactus in Manhattan. He was as big as the Empire State Building. He's beating the shit out of all the superheroes. And Spider-Man and Daredevil were sitting on a fucking fire escape, eating sandwiches and watching.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
there was no fucking way they could do anything to help what was going on. They just had to look at it just like all the rest of the guys looked at it. And that's kind of interesting.
These are some good hoagies, man.
Yo, did you get extra mayo?
A toast.
Hey, these ain't Quiznos.
Oh man,
it's like a good one, and then Daredevil tries to like toast the sandwich to Spider-Man. He's blind, so he misses. He just mushes it straight into the wall.
Oh, dude!
I saw a guy with a Batman sticker on his back window.
Oh yeah, what do we think about
then
Batman?
I was like,
people?
that's fine. And then
that one I was trying to put my finger
he had
on.
a Batman sticker on both sides of his car, like on the passenger and
like the front windshield.
Yeah, no, on the doors. Like you really wanted it. You really wanted it to be some bootleg Batmobile.
So you're saying Batman people have no wrinkles on their brain, just perfectly smooth brains. Just their brains look like pool balls.
I think Batman people, to round this out, I think Batman people, we've said a lot of mean shit about Batman people. One thing Batman people want to be is the people with the means to change something.
Right. Yeah.
They want to be that. So you'll see a lot of Batman logos on like fucking Lamborghinis and shit because they'll know that they have part of the privilege that it took to be Batman.
Right.
And what they would really like is to try to project the fact that they're also trying to do good like him, but mostly they're just attracted to all these beautiful toys.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
so that most of the time I bet you in their minds they think they're going to do something great one day, but right now, look at my garage. I'm doing a video about how to help yourself to get rich like me. You know what I mean?
Was that a Ty Lopez reference?
Yes.
Yeah. Here in my garage.
We're in my garage.
God, I hate that motherfucker.
I got my ancient Macedonian swords. No biggie. Let's go in here. I got a waterfall of bitches. is. No big deal. I got the Shroud of Turin. Yep, he looks pretty black to me. Anyway, I'm woke. He's just going through crib style, looking at all
So
this
Batman is YouTubers.
loot. Oh God,
It's YouTubers.
I think a lot of YouTubers want to be Batman, but yeah.
God.
So like, I would love for somebody. I would love for Elon Musk to try to act more like Tony Stark, but mostly what he does is try to bully people into letting him help. You know what I mean? Like with those guys who were trapped in the cave, he was just like, "No, I'm gonna make a submarine and go get them."
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, dude, just chill the fuck out. Fuck you guys. You don't even want to survive. That's cool though."
You're a pedophile.
It's like, you're pedos. What are you doing with kids in caves, dude?
You're just looking for any way to touch them.
Yeah, you guys in there just making ring around the roses around stalactites to jack them off or something.
Gonna hold their hand on the way out.
Are you addicted to guano or something? What the fuck's wrong with you, bro?
Also, I've never actually turned a profit. Ever. I've never actually made $1.
Oh, yeah. No, those dudes, yeah. Exactly. Half of the Enron dudes were Batman people.
Yeah.
People who would love to project the largesse of being super rich and having that much influence over the world and being that important.
That's what I mean about Elon Musk. Every single company he's ever started is like billions of dollars in debt.
Do you think it's like a lot of people who inherit large sums of money might be Batman people as being put in a similar plight?
And that's the crazy the Venn diagram of Batman. Batman is people like myself who are aspirant, who look up to rich people as like sort of almost slavishly, capitalistically, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then people who actually are born with that and know that, frankly, if you were to have $1 billion, you should feel some sense of responsibility. Mm-hmm. Even if it's some bullshit comic book responsibility.
Right.
Yeah,
you should feel some.
Maybe they're more delusional in like the Superman way where they're just like, I'm from another planet and I'm here to kill it.
I'm from Planet Wealth, brother.
Yeah, I'm here from Planet Wealth, brother.
Behold my flying snakes.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
Ed, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Oh, well, they can check me out on Screen Junkies every Monday and Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do a show, Screen Junkies News, and it's just me and a bunch of cool nerd people hanging out.
Many of whom have been on this very show.
Oh, so, yeah, of course, yeah. And, at Ed Greer Destroys on Twitter. I love when people interact with me, especially when I do a hot take.
I'm predicting because I am a light comic book fan. You know what I mean? Like my knowledge goes nowhere near as deep as y'all's. But I feel like I'm going to get a lot of a wave of opinions back. So if you've got something to respond to, at Ed Greer Destroys.
Oh, yeah.
And me too. I want to read it all, but I don't claim to understand most of it.
Yeah. If you have something mean to say about my mischaracterization of violent incels, then come at me, bro. But yeah, no, certainly. I really appreciate when people, because 9 times out of 9.5, people are really respectful and cool on the internet, to me at least. And we're able to have a nice discussion that, like, that's what it should be for us to use the sum of human knowledge to, like, pull each other all up. To the rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, type of thing.
Well, I was going to say, I'm really proud to say that most of the people who interact with us that listen to the show, it's been pretty much nothing but respectful conversations.
Nobody's told me to fuck off yet, and I'm so shocked by that,
dude. Because you're not Cousin Oliver. You're like somebody cooler than that.
Yeah, slightly.
But and you can check me out on my podcast, Nerd Goat Podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me talk about it earlier, because a lot of times, is it about smart goats? No, that's the Superman riff we did earlier. It's not about that. It's literally just, who is your favorite fictional character of all time? You like James Bond? There's probably some psychological things in there, and it's not about picking them apart or trying to make them cry like Barbara Walters. We're having a good, fun time. It's like more like an actor studio.
Sure.
It's traipsing people through their lives and through their influences, and then people have come to awakenings in the middle of the show, like, oh, I really like this guy because, oh shit, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, and then this tapestry unfolds.
I think I came to mind. I was like, I really love the dude because I also want to do nothing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Was that yours on it?
I did. Well, because I talked to Ron and Ed, and I was like, I feel like everybody's done comic book stuff. Can I do like a comedy thing? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I came in, I did, Jeffrey Lebowski.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's still one of our favorite episodes because that character means something to you. So again, it's not just don't go, oh well, Nerd Goat sounds like just a bunch of assholes talking about Batman. Yes, it's as
all
well
kinds.
as people talking about Wendy from fucking we had Jessica Lovelace Chandler on, and she talked about Wendy from Peter Pan.
Oh,
and
okay,
she, in her experience in her life, she spent her life raising man children and trying to, you know what I mean? So it hit her in the middle of talking about Wendy. Why would you identify with the Harridan, with the one who was the most grounded in reality?
Yeah.
Well,
The
because
normal
she's been
person in this story.
Right. She's been that her whole life.
Oh,
and so it just happens over and over again where we see like, this is sick. This is a really cool concept, and we're rising up the charts and stuff. And I know the cross pollination is helping because you guys' fan base really likes that sort of stuff too.
Dude, that's awesome.
So thank you very
I
much.
was hoping you were going to say Wendy from Wendy's.
That's your episode, Sam. Sam was like, yes, I'm here to nerd goat Wendy from Wendy's.
And it's like a 2-minute episode. It's like, now why is Wendy's your favorite? Because I love chicken sandwiches.
The chicken sandwiches are good. The burgers are good.
Dude, a lot of chicken sandwiches have tried to usurp her crown.
Why do you like chicken sandwiches? They're spicy.
There's no introspection. Nothing.
They're crispy and they're good.
The lettuce is cold, but the chicken's hot.
She's got that red hair.
I like redheads. Yeah, you start getting creepy.
Gingham dress.
Nothing. I don't get a boner from the other logos.
It's a chicken sandwich. It gives me a boner. End of episode.
Fuck. God. That's too funny. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Jesus, that's too good. Carter, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Clark because I'm not a doctor and my name's not Clark.
Sam, where can people find you?
Twitter at Slam Harder, and then also YouTube, LA Comedy Life, where I just film stuff and put it on there. Great episode with Carter and Rivers, episode 12.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
Watch the Oxnard catastrophe. Absolutely do that. It was a mess. It was a true mess.
It was. I think we really stuck around to catch all of it.
Yeah. Subscribe to LA Comedy Life.
Yeah.
Be the 12th subscriber.
We just fucking do that. If you're somehow not subscribed to it, we just passed 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube, youtube.com/thegoodsPod. So if you subscribe to us on YouTube, head over to goddamn LA Comedy Life and do that too. And you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodsPod. We're on Twitter at thegoodsPod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/thegoodsPod. Buy a shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/thegoodsPod. And if you like this show, if you want to spread awareness about the show, head over to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Say something nice about us and all that good stuff. It helps to tell a friend as well if you got one. And doing all that shows the attitude of gratitude. And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude,
I'm going to shit my pants and throw my shitty underwear in your living room.
We'll see you next week. The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.